I read an average of 24 books per year, and this is one of the factors that were decisive for my success as an entrepreneur. Today, I'm going to show you 6 books that I have read and continue to read, which I believe every entrepreneur should read. Persuasion by Robert Cialdini. 33 years after influence stormed into the hearts of business owners, marketers, and managers and sold millions of copies, Robert Cialdini is back on the scene with his first solo book since then. Persuasion, a revolutionary way to influence and persuade, isn't about getting people to decide the way you want. It's about setting the stage the right way, so they'll automatically want to when the time comes. Persuasion shows you 2 sides of the same coin, the way we're being persuaded in our everyday lives and how you and I can use those very same tactics to persuade others. If you're a marketer, this'll help you sell more stuff. If you're a frequent shopper, you'll learn to see why you buy things the way you do. Here are 3 lessons about how we decide, before we decide. So-called leading or persuasive questions elicit certain answers and prime us to decide in a specific way. We put more relevance on what's attention-grabbing, so beware. The words we use determine what we do more than we think. Ready to learn the art of persuasion? Let's give this a go. Lesson 1. Leading questions try to get you to respond with certain answers and influence your later decisions. Last semester I took a statistics class, for which I had to create a survey about energy drinks. One of the first things we learned was that we must not ask leading questions. Leading questions are questions which steer the respondent to answer in a certain way. For example, if I ask you, given the recent terrorist attacks in London, how dangerous do you perceive the threat of terrorism to be, then that question is loaded with persuasion, namely negative emotions. By reminding you of those attacks, I draw your attention to the recency of the topic, and thus you'll naturally evaluate the danger as a lot realer. But persuasive questions can be even simpler. Are you unhappy? Gets you to start fishing for unhappiness in your life, whereas are you happy? Makes you look for the positives. In a 1993 study among students, those with the first question were 375% more likely to report actually being unhappy. What kind of answer you get highly depends on how you ask the question. Lesson 2. Whatever grabs our attention, we think is relevant. Have you been thinking about terrorism for the last minute or so? That's because I planted something very attention-grabbing in your head. And the longer you think about it, the more relevant it'll become in your mind. What's more, if we're not giving our attention to something that grabs it already, we'll just settle for whatever's available right now. If I ask you whether you like cappuccino in a Starbucks, you're a lot more likely to say yes even if you don't, just because you feel it's the right response in this environment. In the same vein, you will think 9/11 is historically less important 2 weeks before and after the anniversary date than the week of. When the news have been recycling it for days, the event is still fresh in your mind, it's emotional and available. So the next time someone tries to sell you an alarm system by citing all kinds of scary crime statistics, remember, they're making things seem more relevant to you than they might actually be. Lesson 3. Our word choices matter a lot more than we think, because words get us to do things. I think you should watch Entourage. It's a hilariously funny TV show, has great guest stars, awesome actors, and a superb soundtrack, especially for people who like hip-hop. Does this make you want to watch the show? If so, what do you think sold you on it? The fun? The actors? The soundtrack? Chances are, it's none of those things. Most likely, if you now feel compelled to watch this show, it's because I used words that reminded you of some of your favorite things. Maybe you thought of a funny actor you like, a hip-hop song you love, or even just something random you think is awesome. One of the psychologists Cialdini cites in the book says the primary purpose of speech is to direct the attention of listeners to certain aspects of reality. Use the right words, get people to focus on certain things and thus, to take certain actions. For example, in a study where participants had to assemble sentences from scrambled words, those with aggressive words like blood, rage, angry, or kill set intensity levels of electric shocks in a follow-up test 50% higher than the control group. Similarly, after reading a long text about old people with triggering words, participants of another study actually walked slower. What you say matters. It changes what you do. More than you think. Influence by Robert Cialdini. Dr. Robert Cialdini needs no introduction. He is a legend in the world of marketing and sales. After 3 years of research at car dealerships, charity organizations, and telemarketing companies, he published this modern business classic in 1984. Cialdini discovered 6 key principles which influence how we make decisions: reciprocity, commitment, consistency, social proof, authority, liking, scarcity. Influence became a modern business classic. Just like the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, it is now required reading for anyone trying to succeed in the world of work and entrepreneurship. Cialdini calls his principles shortcuts. If they are triggered, we jump to conclusions faster. Our brains like using them because they save time. They can be used for us or against us, but it is essential to understand how they work. Here are my favorite 3 of the 6 and how they work in action. You can use the reciprocity bias to build up a massive good karma account. The scarcity bias works because we hate to miss opportunities. Make a small commitment to trigger your consistency bias and reach your goal. Let's take a closer look. Lesson 1. You can use the reciprocity bias to build up a massive good karma account. Imagine caveman Grok would have constantly been worried about his tasty beets. He'd never have shared any with Jane, the friendly cave woman next door, because he didn't see anything in it for him. Subsequently, she would have never returned the favor with a late-night cave dinner, and neither you, nor I, nor any of us would be here. So why did Grok share his beets with Jane? Reciprocity. He knew that if he gave her food, she would owe him one. Even though the reciprocity bias is one of the foundational reasons why we're alive, today it's often used against us. We always feel compelled to return a favor, and marketers know this. Not only that, we'll usually return a much bigger favor than was made to us. Consider this study from Cornell University in 1971, where researcher Joe brought some of the participants a 10-cent bottle of Coke. When asked to buy raffle tickets from Joe shortly afterwards, the people who owed Joe one bought 50 cents worth of tickets. This is not only 5 times as much as the price of the Coke, but also twice as much money spent on tickets as in the scenarios where Joe didn't bring people the Coke beforehand. It's the same trick the Hare Krishnas have been using for decades by giving people flowers, and marketers often abuse it. However, you can also flip this around. Instead of trying to guilt people into reciprocity, why not just do good things without being asked to either way? Go out of your way to help other people and you'll naturally build up a massive good karma account. No tricks needed. Lesson 2. Because we hate to miss opportunities, scarcity makes us act. Don't you hate missing out on a good deal? I know I've beaten myself up over a few AppSumo deals because I didn't act fast enough. The fact that you get so angry at yourself for not buying those jeans last week when they were on sale, or got that delicious pizza before they ran out for the day, is the reason why the scarcity bias works. We beat ourselves up a lot for missing opportunities. Regret is a powerful feeling. People who were told of a limited time meat sale bought 3 times as much, even more when they learned that only they knew about the sale. It makes me sad to see all this fake scarcity around the web now, where marketers peddle digital products with countdowns, limited edition labels and deadlines, as if they're rare metals or oil. So pay attention the next time you sign up for an email list and are offered a 2-day-only deal shortly afterwards. Unsubscribe and resubscribe, and the loop starts all over again. The scarcity bias is one of the most widely abused ones, so try to spot it wherever you can. Lesson 3. When you make a small commitment, it triggers your consistency bias and helps you reach your goal. Imagine you're chilling on your towel at the beach, when suddenly, someone steals the radio of the person next to you, while they're away. What would you do? If you're honest, probably nothing, like 4 out of 5 people do. Now imagine for a second that before leaving, your tall neighbor had asked you to watch her things. Would you just let the thief get away? Most likely, you would at the very least say something. In a study that tested this exact scenario, 95% of the people who committed to watching another person's things even got up and chased down the thief. A small commitment sure goes a long way, because it triggers your consistency bias. This bias is very useful, because you can use it in your favor. For example, if you make a small commitment of not hitting the snooze button in the morning, you'll really want to follow through. Once you're up, you can then use the extra time to develop an awesome morning routine. Use mini commitments to jumpstart reaching your goals and then let the consistency bias take you the rest of the way. How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. This self-help classic, published even 1 year before Think and Grow Rich, in 1936, has sold over 15 million copies throughout the 80 years it's been in print. This book has surely shaped behavioral psychology the way we know it today, as it reads like an instruction manual on how you can be more liked by others, get them to do favors for you, and even change their behavior under your influence. However, none of it is based on manipulation and deceit. Dale Carnegie does it all based on the core idea that you can change other people's behavior simply by changing your own. Here are 3 valuable lessons from how to win friends and influence people. You can make a great first impression just by smiling. To be interesting to others, talk about their favorite topic, themselves. If you want to convince people, get them to say yes a lot. Ready to become a master of influence? Lesson 1. A simple smile is all it takes for you to make a great impression. There's that famous quote about how actions speak louder than words, because in the way we act we truly show whether we follow through on our intentions, instead of just stating them. The easiest action you can take to make others instantly like you then, is to smile. Just like we all tear up when a baby laughs or smiles at us, or feel a rush of endorphins from seeing a dog wag its tail in our presence, we can't help but feel affection towards someone who smiles at us. Now imagine a smile being the first thing you see the first time you meet someone and shake their hand. Of course you're going to like them. More than half of our communication is based on body language, so a smile versus a frown can make the difference between making a new friend or selling a car and striking out. What's more, smiling isn't a one-way road, it helps you directly too. By consciously smiling you'll generate positive feelings by accident, just like positive feelings can cause you to smile without meaning to. So the next time you meet someone new, turn that frown upside down and smile as you shake their hand. Lesson 2. You can be interesting to others by getting them to talk about themselves. What's everyone's favorite topic? The weather? Nope. Themselves. We all love people who listen to us for hours end as we yatter on and on about our own lives. People always think to be interesting you have to share many fascinating stories and constantly talk about your accomplishments. That couldn't be more wrong. You don't even have to talk to be interesting. Humans are naturally self-centered, we are our own biggest interest, and boy do we get excited if we meet someone who shares that interest. Give other people your full attention, don't interrupt them, be genuinely interested, ask follow-up questions, don't rant about yourself and, most importantly, listen. You'll be amazed at how many people will say things like this about you: that Nick guy was so great to talk to, what an interesting person. If you want to go one step further, you can do what Teddy Roosevelt did, and even prepare yourself before you meet someone by researching them online and trying to pick 2 to 3 of their favorite topics, which you can then address and get them to talk about. Lesson 3. In order to convince people, you have to get them to say yes a lot. Dale Carnegie has 3 steps to help you convince people, the premise of all of them being that they don't know you're trying to change their mind. We hardly defend anything as strongly as our own opinions, so the second we're onto someone trying to win us over, it's a hopeless cause. Unless you've spilled the milk already, here are 3 steps to help you succeed. Be nice. Do the above. Smile. Listen. Be polite and patient. That's the basis of any successful persuasion and, for that matter, should be the basis of any conversation. Make it clear you have the same goals. Your conversation partner must believe you share the same interests and vision, so emphasize that by talking about the interests you actually share. They have to know you're really on their side and want what's best for them. Ask them lots of small questions that they answer with yes. Once you're sure you're both on the same page, you can start laying out your arguments, but do it by asking questions your partner can answer with yes as much as possible. Then, when you make your final point, you're more likely to get a yes as well. The idea behind this approach, called the Socratic method, is that the probability of a final yes goes up with every yes you get before. This is due to the human consistency bias. We want to be consistent in our actions, so we're unlikely to break a long chain of yes. Expert Secrets by Russell Brunson. When it comes to business and marketing, the process of turning an idea into practice can be quite lengthy and challenging. Fortunately, Expert Secrets by Russell Brunson can teach you all about it and more. The book is packed with proven practices that turn any marketing plan into an instant success. If you want to learn a step-by-step process on how to create a marketing plan that sells and has prospects come your way, look no more because we're about to jump right into it in the following lines. For now, here are 3 of the most relevant lessons from the book. The first 10 secrets of this book teach you how to create a mass movement and have everyone believe in your pitch. Now, let's explore these lessons in detail and see how they can help you learn and practice marketing like a pro. Lesson 1. The first 10 secrets of the book are the most powerful tools for everyone looking to build a pitch that sells. The first secret is to create an attractive or charismatic leader that's the face of your product. Brand yourself around a niche. The second secret is to glorify your cause and build a movement or a cult around it. Make it seem big and important. The third one is to turn the first 2 into a vehicle of change. Make your branded persona and your offerings look like a huge opportunity. The fourth secret is strictly related, as it implies building early results by giving people what they want. The fifth secret is the big domino. In this part of your marketing plan, your aim is to make everything else seem irrelevant compared to your offering. The sixth secret implies taking prospects from emotions to ration by explaining how you were one of them, but after this product, you've changed. The seventh idea presented tells you how to present yourself as a hero who's been through a lot of change and became a new person. The eighth secret explains how you can bridge all your stories, from your modest beginning to your highest achievement. The ninth secret is about changing their false beliefs by acknowledging that you too had them at some point, but managed to overcome them. Lastly, the 10th secret is to answer your prospects' questions and internal and external struggles. .com Secrets by Russell Brunson. Marketing means plenty of things to a lot of people. Users often have negative feelings related to this concept, thinking that they're being manipulated into buying. Marketers often use their powers in the wrong way, creating useless leads and over-promoting products. The result? Digital environments where no one gets what they want. Written by ClickFunnels founder Russell Brunson, .com Secrets delves into the concept of marketing from A to Z and teaches marketers worldwide how to build effective campaigns, grab the user's attention and deliver relevant results for them in the buying process, all through the sales funnel approach. Becoming a great marketer isn't about knowing the theory, but practicing it. For this reason, we'll explore the 3 best practices every marketer should know. Every successful business and marketing strategy has a target audience and an ideal customer. Create a character for your business that people can relate to and connect to. A successful online campaign has 5 core elements. Let's start with the beginning, Lesson 1. Then, we'll explore all of them one by one. Lesson 1. A target audience and a buyer persona are essential to any business's marketing strategy. When building a marketing strategy, there are plenty of aspects to consider. It all starts with who you want to address and how you want to get your message across. To figure out how your marketing campaign should begin, you'll have to look at your target audience, and more specifically, at your ideal client. A target audience consists of the market you want to address. To define it, you'll have to consider its demographical, social, economical, and behavioral factors. In the process of defining your buyer persona, you can ask these questions. Where is this person located? What's their average income? What do they like to see and hear? What's their gender? Where can they be found? These are just some ideas of questions that you can implement in your target market study. Generally, what you need to do is answer as many questions as possible to narrow down your target audience. Then, it'll be easier to come up with your ideal client figure or your buyer persona. When you have an approximate figure of your ideal customer, targeting your marketing efforts gets much easier. If you know who you're speaking to, it's easier to design the right campaign and have your prospects relate to your message and feel like you're really speaking to them and not just trying to sell them something. Lesson 2. People connect easier to a character than a simple company. If you want to scale your brand and take it to the next level, you'll have to find your way into the minds and hearts of your prospects. To do so, many companies create characters that their audience can connect to. Those characters must be someone people can relate to, share struggles and find things in common with. Moreover, the character has to be someone that has flaws just like them and has opinions about important life matters. The elements of an attractive character are a good story, a catchy, ongoing tale, natural defects, popularity. A good story is all about where your character is coming from and how he or she is associated with the product. Your catchy tale means speaking through parables or easy-to-remember stories that illustrate life situations. They can be common struggles, inspiring tales, or anything that gets your reader's attention. The defects of your character make it look human and flawed, and help your audience connect to it easily. Popularity comes in time, but once you have it, make sure to exploit it. Don't be afraid to speak up, even if you're offending someone. It's better to please the right group than to stay neutral with everyone. Lesson 3. Build your online marketing campaign around the value ladder and the sales funnel. Marketing may seem like an ambiguous topic. A marketing campaign is even vaguer to some people. We know that we use marketing to advertise and ultimately sell more, but what counts as advertising? And how do we do it successfully? According to the author, we can do that through a value ladder that ultimately turns into a sales funnel. A value ladder is a way of providing added value incrementally to your customers in hope that they will go through each step of the ladder and pay for the experience as they go. To build a successful value ladder, you need to give away less expensive front-end offers and attract leads to the most expensive offers eventually. You need to start by offering your prospects free knowledge and earning their trust. Only then you can pitch your offering and request payments. A sales funnel is a web page representation of your value ladder. It is the process your audience goes through before buying your offerings. Funnel stages have different psychologies, so you need to speak to your front-end users in another manner than you would with your back-end users. $100 million offers: How to Make Offers So Good People Feel Stupid Saying No by Alex Hormozi. I'm still reading this book and can't provide a general summary yet, but I couldn't leave it out of this list. This book will teach you how to build million-dollar offers that address all the doubts and needs of your clients. It covers topics such as niche selection, pricing, creating offers, determining bonuses, creating guarantees, and even shows how Alex Hormozi got to where he is today. If you want a more in-depth summary of any of the books I mentioned here, comment below, and if you want to discover more books that will help you in your personal development journey towards reaching your best version, subscribe to the channel.